When I got that text from my girlfriend, the one that said, "I befriended your therapist on Facebook and she told me everything about your past," my entire body went cold. I remember staring at the screen, reading the message over and over again, my heart pounding so hard it felt like it might crack my ribs. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't think. I just kept asking myself the same question. How did she find my therapist? Why would she contact her? And what exactly did she think she knew? And now I need to ask you, was I wrong for how I reacted next? Tell me honestly if you think you would have done the same thing, because this moment didn't just break my trust. It broke something inside me that I'm still not sure I can ever get back. It didn't start like that. In the beginning, everything with my girlfriend Laura felt easy, natural, almost too good to be real. We met at a friend's birthday dinner, the kind where half the people don't know each other and the whole night is just awkward small talk and forced laughter. But she sat next to me, and somehow the two of us ended up drifting into our own little world. She was bright and curious and open about everything. Her hobbies, her dreams, the fact that she once accidentally set her stove on fire trying to make pancakes. I liked her immediately, because she had this way of talking that made me feel like I'd known her for years. And maybe that was the first problem. She made me feel so safe so quickly that I ignored all the small signs. The little flags, the subtle moments where she'd get too curious, too invested in things that weren't hers. I've been in therapy for years, long before I met her. My therapist, Dr. Rowan, has been one of the few stable things in my life. She helped me through a lot. Family tension, an emotionally controlling past relationship, and a really rough patch in my early 20s when I felt completely lost. It wasn't something I talked about casually. I trusted Dr. Rowan, but I didn't trust the world with the things I shared with her. So when I started dating Lara, I told her only the basics, that I was in therapy and it helped me. She asked questions, of course, but I kept it surface level. I wanted to open up slowly, at my own pace. I thought she understood, but people who want to know everything never actually settle for when I'm ready. A few months into our relationship, the first weird moment happened. I'd just gotten back from a session, and Lara was waiting for me at my apartment. She hugged me, kissed me, then pulled back and asked, "So, what did she say about me?" I remember laughing, thinking it was a joke, but she wasn't smiling. She looked genuinely curious, almost anxious. I told her it didn't work like that therapy wasn't about analyzing her. She nodded but didn't respond. Her eyes had this strange look in them, like disappointment mixed with suspicion. But the moment passed. Later, I noticed she occasionally asked me specific questions I hadn't brought up to her. Things like, "Do you think you avoid conflict because of your dad or because of your ex?" Questions that sounded uncomfortably therapeutic. I just assumed she was reading psychology blogs or watching too many mental health TikToks. I brushed it off because honestly, she cared. And it had been a long time since someone cared that much. What I didn't realize was that she wasn't just curious. She was digging. She asked me once what my therapist's name was. I didn't think much of it. It came up casually during a conversation about who had influenced our lives the most. And I mentioned Dr. Rowan. I didn't give her a last name. I didn't give her any details. But Lara was the type of person who could take one tiny piece of information and build an entire puzzle from it. Weeks passed, and I didn't notice anything strange. We were good, actually, we were great. We went on weekend trips, had long late-night talks, cooked together, laughed constantly. She made me feel loved, wanted, understood. I didn't know she was building a version of me in her head, piece by piece, using information I had never given her. And then came the day everything snapped. It was a random afternoon. I was at work, halfway through typing an email, when my phone buzzed. I glanced down expecting a meme or a lunch question. Instead, I saw her message. "I befriended your therapist on Facebook and she told me everything about your past." Those words, every single one, felt like they punched me in the chest. My throat tightened. I felt dizzy. I locked myself in an empty meeting room and just stared at my phone as my mind spiraled. My therapist would never share confidential information. Never. It was literally illegal. So what the hell was Lara talking about? Was she lying? Manipulating me? Testing me? Or worse, had she actually contacted my therapist? I typed back, "What are you talking about?" She didn't respond immediately. Instead, I watched the typing dots appear and disappear like she was crafting a speech. Finally, she replied, "Don't worry. I'm not mad. I just wanted to understand you better, and I do now." I felt sick. My hands were shaking. I called her immediately, and when she answered, she sounded calm. Too calm, like she had no idea she just set off an earthquake inside me. She explained everything like it was perfectly normal. She said she found my therapist on Facebook by searching local counseling groups and recognizing her face from an old photo on my fridge I'd completely forgotten about. She said she sent Dr. Rowan a friend request just to see what kind of person she was. She claimed Dr. Rowan accepted it. Then she told me she'd messaged her, told her she was my girlfriend, and that she wanted to know how to support me better. According to Lara, my therapist opened up about my past traumas, my insecurities, my childhood issues, all of it. I knew instantly this was a lie. My therapist would lose her license and probably face charges if she did something like that, so I called Dr. Rowan. She answered, confused and concerned, and told me Lara had in fact messaged her, but she never responded. Not a single word. She had even blocked her afterward because she found it inappropriate and intrusive. She assured me she had never disclosed anything. She also suggested, gently, that what Lara did was a serious boundary issue and that I needed to think about what this meant for the relationship. So there I was, sitting in my car outside work, shaking with anger, betrayal, confusion, everything mixing together in this horrible emotional storm. And before I go on, I want you to think about this situation and tell me, if you were in my place, what would you have done? Would you confront her? Break up with her? Try to talk it out? Before I tell you what happened next, I want you to pause and comment what you'd do if someone tried to pry into your private therapy like that. When I got home that night, Lara acted like nothing was wrong. She was cooking, humming to herself, smiling like she hadn't just ripped open the most private part of my life. I confronted her the second I walked through the door. She didn't deny it. She didn't apologize. She didn't look guilty. Instead, she looked annoyed, like I was overreacting. She said, "I did it because I love you. I need to know who you really are if we're going to have a future together." I told her she crossed a line no one should ever cross. She said I was being dramatic. I told her she violated my trust. She said she was just trying to help. I told her she lied about my therapist responding. She shrugged and said, "Well, if she didn't tell me, I figured it out myself." That was the moment something in me snapped. She wasn't sorry. She wasn't even trying to understand the gravity of what she did. She genuinely believed she had the right to know everything in my mind, even the things I wasn't ready to share. I told her to leave. She didn't believe I was serious at first. She laughed and asked if this was some kind of test. When she realized I meant it, her face changed, anger, panic, tears all mixed together. She started blaming me, accusing me of hiding things from her, of being secretive, of being emotionally distant because I didn't share every detail of my therapy. She said if I truly loved her, I would have been an open book. That hurt more than anything because I had tried. I was opening up at my own pace, and she took that pace as a personal insult. She left eventually, slamming the door so hard the picture frames shook. I just stood there in the silence afterward, feeling this overwhelming mix of grief and relief. Grief because I did love her. Relief because something about this relationship had always felt slightly off. And now I finally understood why. In the days after, she sent me long messages about how she only did it because she cared, how people who love each other shouldn't have secrets, how she needed to know everything to feel secure. It was manipulative, desperate, and sad. I blocked her eventually because the messages got darker and more accusatory. I talked about everything with my therapist, who helped me understand that what Lara did wasn't love. It was control. It was obsession. It was entitlement. No one has the right to dig into your private therapy, no matter how much they claim to care. Months later, I still think about it sometimes. Not with anger anymore, but with a kind of caution. I learned something important. If someone demands access to every corner of your mind, it's not intimacy they want, it's ownership. And I will never let anyone make me feel unsafe in my own head again. So that's what happened. And now I genuinely want to know what you think. Was I too harsh? Should I have tried harder to understand her intentions? Or was ending it the only real choice? Like this video if you believe I made the right call. Subscribe for more stories like this. And share your thoughts in the comments, because I still wonder what other people would have done. I'll see you all in the next story.